In a small village outside Abeokuta, where red dust clung to bare feet and dreams felt heavier than hunger, lived a boy named Tunde Adebayo. He was the only son amongst his three sisters. Tunde's house was built of rusted zinc sheets. When rain fell, his mother, Mama Tunde, placed bowls on the floor to catch the water. His father, Babatunde, repaired bicycles by the roadside, earning just enough to keep the family alive. Tunde Adebayo learned early that hunger had a voice. It spoke loudly every morning when his stomach tightened before school. It mugged him in class, while other children opened lunch boxes filled with jollof rice and meat. Tunde's lunch was usually water and sometimes not even that. Despite everything, Tunde loved numbers. Every evening, after selling sachet water on the highway, he would sit under a mango tree and solve math problems using charcoal on cardboard. "Why do you stress yourself so much?" his friend Sadiq once asked. Tunde smiled and said, "I listen to my father's radio and I am always encouraged with the academic program organized for young students, and I learned that not all of them are from a rich background, yet they are brilliant. To your question of why I stress myself, I can say the answer is poverty is not permanent, but giving up is. So I dream to be a big man, and I will do all it takes." Sadiq replied, "I don't like listening to radio except they are playing music." One afternoon in Abeokuta, his teacher asked a simple maths question. "Tunde, if you buy gari for 10 naira and sell it for 15, what is your profit?" Tunde stood up confidently. "5 naira, sir." The class laughed. "See this one," a boy shouted, always talking about buying and selling. Tunde sat down, embarrassed, but inside his mind, numbers danced. Buying and selling made sense to him and helped him understand maths. Life itself felt like a transaction, effort in and reward out. Their house was small with a stubborn leak. No matter how many times Babatunde patched the roof, rain always found its way in. During one heavy rainfall, Mama Tunde moved bowls around the room like a conductor directing an orchestra. "Babatunde," she shouted, "the rain has entered again." Babatunde laughed. "Let it enter. At least it's free water." Tunde laughed too, even though water dripped onto his school books. That night he whispered to himself, "One day I will build a house that will fear rain." When Tunde was 15, Babatunde fell very ill. The village prayed. The herbs didn't work. The hospital came too late, and finally he passed away. The little money they had disappeared into hospital bills. Tunde dropped out of school to support his family. The night Babatunde died, Tunde didn't cry. He stared at the wall, angry at everything: God, the world, poverty itself. At the burial, as death covered his father's coffin, Tunde finally spoke softly. I will not die poor." He whispered, "I swear." In order to support the family, Tunde went to Lagos. Lagos welcomed Tunde like a slap. He began working in Oshodi market, carrying goods for traders. Oshodi market was chaos, shouting traders, flying insults, and buses that seemed to aim for pedestrians on purpose. Tunde, as a load carrier, pushed wheelbarrows instead of just lifting loads. He listened, trying to adapt fast to the new environment. One day, a woman pointed at him and shouted, You look strong, carry this bag." He lifted it and nearly collapsed. "Madam," he gasped, "are you selling cement or rice?" She burst into laughter. "Ha ha ha, I thought you were strong, oh." She later doubled his pay. Madam Yetunde, a sharp-tongued rice trader, noticed Tunde watching transactions instead of resting. "You want my money?" she asked. "No, ma," Tunde replied quickly. "I want to understand how to make it." She laughed so hard Her head tie almost fell. Madame Yetunde saw something special in him due to his persistence. One day she said to him, "You don't just carry goods, you carry sense." Then she taught him basic trading: buy low, sell fast, treat customers well. Here, you learn by watching, observing, and hearing. From her, Tunde learned customers lie, suppliers lie, and also that numbers don't lie. With savings from months of work, Tunde bought a small bag of rice and resold it in smaller portions, then another, then 10 more. He reinvested every naira. Tunde saved for months and owned a tiny food store. At this time, he was 21. His business grew little by little. He later opened another shop bigger than the first. But success did not come without failure. On the third week, a fire broke out at night and destroyed his shop. By morning, his business was all ash. People gathered. As he stood watching the ashes, tears dropped from his eyes. Mama Funke held his hand. "We are still alive. That means God is not done," she said. Tunde replied, "Thank you, ma." Tunde partnered with Kunle Dada, a smooth talker with shiny shoe. The first deal was successful and Kunle gained Tunde's trust and invested heavily with Kunle, as he doesn't have the capacity to buy that large amounts as he used to. That month, Kunle disappeared with the money. For a week, Tunde hid from creditors. Every knock on the door sounded like prison. One night, Mama Funke asked calmly, "Are you running? I only see your workers, but hardly see you these days." Tunde shook his head. "No, we are rebuilding." Mama Funke is a woman who always encourages Tunde, as she saw him as the son she never had. She replied him, "I trust in you, Tunde. God will help you." Tunde noticed something others ignored: food waste. He founded Adebayo Food and Logistics, focusing on affordable food distribution to low-income communities. He created a system to buy excess goods cheaply and distribute them fast to poor areas. People laughed. Who would trust a poor man? They asked. His secret was simple: fair price, honest wages, respect for workers. Customers began trusting him, then investors followed. The people that bought from him liked his service and also informed others. Investors started coming, and contracts began to grow. One boardroom meeting went silent when Tunde walked in, wearing simple clothes. A man whispered, "Is this the businessman?" His fellow said, "Maybe he wants to pass some urgent information to Mr. Uche and leave. He doesn't look like what I heard." Tunde smiled as he passed by them because he heard them, and as the meeting commenced, he introduced himself. At the end, he added, "I love a simple lifestyle, and I see it surprises some people. I like to surprise people." He chuckled and took his seat. The meeting was successful and in good favor of Mr. Tunde, as he signed a deal worth millions. After the deal, Mr. Tunde was interviewed by some reporters outside. A reporter asked him, "What is the secret of your success?" Tunde paused. "I was poor," he said, "not lazy. Poverty taught me patience. Hunger taught me strategy. Pain taught me integrity." He added, "There is opportunity if you can be observant at the problems and find a solution." 2 years later, to mark his 40th birthday, he returned to Abeokuta and built a school on the land where his house once leaked. During the opening, a child asked him, "Sir, were you always rich?" Tunde laughed. "No, I was always not giving up." He encouraged the people and informed them that scholarship will be given to brilliant students till university level. They all clapped and were cheerful. On his return to Lagos, he paid a visit to Mama Funke, who now lives in a quiet house with a beautiful garden. After exchanging pleasantries, they had some chats about life, recounting the losses, and then had a delicious meal prepared by Mama Funke. She gently asked him, "Are you happy?" Tunde smiled and replied, "I am rich, but more importantly, useful." They both laughed, and she chipped in some advice to him quickly. "You need to get married." Tunde replied, "I know, Mama Funke. I am planning towards that. I have to go. I just received an important call." He thought it was a business call, but when he got there, it was his fiancée, Tola, representing her company. They had a long discussion which was not business related, but assured her the contract will be awarded to her company. 6 months later, he got married and continued making impact in companies and awarding young businesses with capital and projects. You never can know how far you can go in life if you don't give up.